as things have been really focused a lot on farming, we also know that there's going to be some more consumer benefit products coming forward. So foods that have disease-fighting properties, foods that maybe stay fresher longer and have increased flavor, and also foods that have better nutrition. Things like soybean and milk and peanuts with less allergens, increased proteins in cassavas, and sorghum with more digestibility. I always, when I put this slide up, I always want to make sure to say that the whole allergenicity, I think people get quite excited about that. That's not a close one. It's quite a complicated pathway and it's a ways down, so don't expect that tomorrow, but it certainly is something that people are working on. So this is a new study. Well, it's actually not that new anymore, but a couple of years ago it was done by the JRC in Europe. And the interesting part to it is we're expecting to see almost a 4-fold increase in the number of plant biotech traits that are going to be coming online in under 10 years. But I think, I think the really important part is to see that if you look here, we're now looking at crops that aren't the typical crops that we've seen in the past. So potatoes, rice, things like that are going to be coming online that haven't been before. And the other really interesting piece is that the new developers might not be the typical developers that they've been in the past. They're going to be universities, they're going to be governments that are coming online. And this could change the way we look at things moving forward. And we're already seeing this in Canada. We're seeing a major increase. This only is recent, and I've talked to my CFIA colleagues, and that number is even higher. So we can see the number of confined field trials in Canada is increasing. And then if we take a look at stacked events, this is the trend. So we're going to be seeing a lot more stacked events coming online too. So if we have all these great benefits and countries are adopting GM technologies, so what are the problems? What are the issues that we have to deal with? Well, I think a big part of the issues is around international trade. We've still got a lot of countries that are not, their regulatory systems are not science-based, and they don't function properly, and some countries don't even have regulatory systems at all yet. We've got asynchronous approvals. So companies strive to put submissions into all the countries of trade at the same time, but they don't all approve them at the same time. And we've also got things like isolated foreign approvals. So what I mean by that is I'm going to give you an example. In Brazil, they developed a bean. It's an eating bean. It's been approved. It's on the market today. It was created by Embrapa, which is their government-funded research agency. It's for domestic use only. They do not intend to get any kind of regulatory approval in any other country. The problem is, though, the way trade is, these could get into the system, so these could come into Canada. So these are things called isolated foreign approvals. And the other areas are things like time-limited approvals. So if we use the EU as an example, they have a 10-year approval process. Products that, well, number one, first of all, things aren't getting approved in the EU, and it takes, such a long time. And then once the approval lapses, a company already has created so many more new products that they're not going to want to renew the approval process in the EU because it could be 20 years apart. Well, these discontinued products now could also get into the system and cause trade problems. So low-level presence, which I'm going to talk a little bit more about, and then also we feel it's limited cooperation on regulatory reviews, not sharing information, and are causing impediments to trade. But I'm really going to focus on low-level presence. And so why does low-level presence matter? So what is it? First of all, it's unavoidable, the unintentional presence, low-level presence of a GM product that's been approved in one or more countries, but not in the country of import. And why is it important? Well, as I said before, as more countries are commercializing and importing, and as we continue to see more trade occurring, incidences of low-level presence are likely to increase. And the other piece to it too is as our detection technologies start getting more and more sensitive, we're able to pick up, things as minute as dust, and these are causing us problems. So I put together this slide. This is just hypothetical, but what I wanted to do is illustrate what we're talking about. So let's say we have a bowl of rice in China. It's golden rice. It's been fully approved. No, it hasn't, but this is hypothetical. It's been fully approved in China, and they eat it. They grow it and eat it at 100%. Comes into Canada, and maybe 1 grain of rice in this whole bowl is that rice. That's what we're talking about. So this is less of a safety issue. It's more about trade, and how does it impede trade.